Hi, Ashley here with HeartHookHome.com, and today we are going to learn how to crochet the knit stitch, which is also known as the waistcoat stitch. The waistcoat is a variation of single crochet, so it's very easy for a newbie to pick up. The one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing with the waistcoat stitch is that you find a crochet hook that has a pointy needle. The pointier, the better. I find that the Yarnology ones from Hobby Lobby are nice and pointy, and then I had this one custom made. I can drop a link in the comments, but this one is my go-to hook for doing the waistcoat stitch. And bonus, it's beautiful. So to start, you're going, since this is a variation of the single crochet, you're just going to start with a slip knot like normal. And you're going to start with a chain of however many stitches you need. We're going to do 11 because since this is a variation of the single crochet, you're going to do your first row as single crochet just like normal, and we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So there's the first one, here's the second one, and I like to go into that back bar. So I'm going to go into this back bar here, and I'm just going to single crochet my way back up this chain. One thing to keep note of with the waistcoat stitch is that you want to use a hook size that's a little bit larger than you normally would for the yarn that you're using. And you also want to make sure that you keep nice and loose. This stitch is one that's easy for it to shrink up on you as you continue working because the stitches are kind of tight. So you need to make sure that you're staying nice and loose and keep that nice open loose tension going as you work. Alright, so now we have the end of the row, and since I chained 11, we have 10 single crochet stitches. So here we are. You can tell it's a little bit on the loose side. That's number one because I'm using a larger hook than I should be, and number two because I made sure I stayed nice and loosey-goosey. So now to start the new row, I'm going to chain one, just like I would with single crochet, and turn. Now, it depends on which pattern you're following. Some patterns have you going straight into that first stitch, and some have a single crochet starting. The one that I'm using now has a single crochet starting, so I'm going to put a single crochet in that very first space, and then I'm going to go into the post from this stitch. So I'm going to, this is why you want to pointy your hook and to go a little loose. I'm going to go straight in the middle of that stitch, and it's going to come out of the middle of that stitch on the other side. Okay, so keep it nice and loose. And now you're just single crocheting, except you're going into the center of that post. So make sure it comes out of the center on this side, again, while you need a pointier hook. And you're just single crocheting into the very center of those stitches. Nice and loose. Now personally, when you get to the end of this row, I like to skip this last post. So right here you have one more single crochet. Some patterns you find they want you to do a waistcoat in this stitch. I think it looks better if you skip that last one and do a single crochet in the very end. Again, you'll want to finish or follow whatever pattern you're following, but I like to keep it to where there's a single crochet in the first and then a single crochet in the last. I think it keeps the edges a little cleaner. So let's do a few more rows. We're going to chain one to start a new row and follow your pattern. Some have you starting directly in that first waistcoat. I like to put a single crochet in the first single. I think it keeps my edges straighter. Now we're just going to continue our single crochets going through the center of that last post of your single crochet from the previous row. Now, it does get easier to crochet the farther you go up. That first row is kind of hard getting your hook in the correct place, but as long as you stay nice and loose, it does get a lot easier to crochet this stitch. And since it's theoretically just single crochet, and it's just the placement of it. It's mindless for the most part. You just keep on going, as long as you keep your stitches nice and loose and you relax that tension, you'll be fine. So when I get to the end of this row, I'm going to skip that last one here, and I'm going to do a single crochet right in the end stitch there. As you can see, your stitches are going into the V's from the previous row, right? So there's one, there's one. When you get down here, it's always coming out of this V is where your next one is coming out. So when we do our next row, we're going to turn it, of course, and then your next row is going to be your single crochet in this one, and then we're going to do our single crochets just right in these V's. Right up in there. We're going to just go right through that whole post through to the other side so that it's coming out the middle of the V on this side and it's going into the middle of the V on this side. So what this does is it creates a knit-like look, which is why it's also called the knit stitch, but it creates a really tight, super strong weave that is really not going, like, it is very sturdy, which is why I used it for this new hoodie pattern. So I hope that you like the waistcoat stitch. It's a lot easier than it sounds. It's basically just single crochet, just placed in a different location. So I hope that you've liked this video. I look forward to creating more with you, and thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.